Welcome to UpYourStack podcast. I'm your host, Noah Burke. I'm also the co-founder of OBO, an elite HubSpot solutions partner. Every week, we feature some of our favorite app developers who've either built their apps on HubSpot or have integrated with HubSpot, help you get the most out of your HubSpot tech stack. And today, I have an awesome guest, Bastien with Hublead, who's solving a major pain point in the marketplace. So Bastien, welcome to the show.
Hey Noah, thanks for having me in the show.
Awesome. And why don't we just get right into it? What exactly does Hublead do?
So Hublead at the beginning, it was really like integrating LinkedIn and LinkedIn Sales Navigator to HubSpot. And now we're trying to have the most competitive product for the outbound for HubSpot users, like going to enriching contact companies and maybe doing later more analysis about conversation, giving more like a funnel of your outbound on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn Sales Navigator, like how many invitation you sent, and through that, how many have been accepted, message sent, message replied, kind of what you have with like tools for outbound emails and so on, but you don't have that in LinkedIn. I'm trying to build, the outbound stack for HubSpot, and of course, it's on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is a big challenge that most sales reps have is how do I connect the data from HubSpot to LinkedIn? And so how did this come about? Did you have this problem? Like how did the whole app Hubly come about?
Yeah, so basically, like I worked for 5-6 years in the marketing as a growth manager in previous companies, and we were basically working for salespeople. Salespeople were like, "Hey guys, we need more companies to prospect. We need more companies that fit our ICP. The conversion rate should be high, and so on." So we were like giving a lot of companies. Working for our sales rep was amazing. But at the end, we didn't have the time to scale our system, like automation, enrichment. It was really painful late at night at the office to scale that. And I was like, sometimes my sales reps needs a tool just to have access to the growth
Yeah.
tools, but without me to have to integrate, put the API like this, connect with Zapier or Make and so on. And so we started to build something inside our company to pull some contacts from LinkedIn to HubSpot and so on. And then I look at a bit of the market, seeing like the HubSpot native integration with Sales Navigator, missing some features. And also, I didn't check, but you can also sync conversation. So at the end, I was like, okay, maybe we need something for the sales rep that spends their time on LinkedIn to have access to specific growth tool like we have in the growth team, but they be more independent. So kind of
Yeah.
things to say is more independent from marketing and growth team.
In other words, you were trying to save time for yourself, so you didn't have to
Yeah,
just do
of
there
course.
and strip all that data yourself and put it in the HubSpot. Listen, that's how most of the best applications get started anyway. You're solving it for yourself
Yeah.
ultimately. And so really when you describe the problem that you solved with Hubly, the ability to make sure that as your communications are going out on LinkedIn, that data is being reflected and that activity is being reflected in HubSpot. That's just one of the capabilities, but that's a huge thing.
Yeah. I mean, we built CRMs to better understand the activity of sales rep and everything. So when your first reports you get is how many calls I did today and how many emails I sent today. And we don't have the LinkedIn. And if you want the LinkedIn, you have to pay for the Advanced Plus LinkedIn Sales Navigator, have the higher tier in HubSpot and so on. So we started, okay, we need to sync conversation, we need to sync contact, and what can we do more? And the more we looked at Zoom for other tools like Apollo and so on, we were like, okay, they do have an integration with HubSpot.
Yeah.
So I was really working with HubSpot like for 5-6 years, and was really like every time someone told me like, "Hey guys, we have a native integration. Don't worry." I was like, "Yeah, I know your native integration," and I was super disappointed every time. So we decided to really like focus on HubSpot and doing the best for that. So starting with the basics, so contact, importing conversation, After we added the enrichment, emails and phone numbers, we used different tools like Rocket Reach, Apollo, Hunter also, and we think we will add more later. So you don't have like a bunch of
Yeah.
apps
So
or
you're
on.
enriching. So
Yeah,
as you're going through, you're also enriching all that data on behalf of those contacts that the people are going ahead and doing outbound, which is immensely important. Do you suppose kind of what has been your key reasons for traction growth? Like where has that growth been coming from for Hubly?
it's boosting the word of mouth. Word of mouth. I guess it's better for us to localize like our users through outbound or outbound or on LinkedIn and social media with other HubSpot partners and so on, because we are really focused on HubSpot, such as our partners in HubSpot. So I think having this kind of marketing and alignment to one tool for the marketing is the best, and it's kind of created the traction, but also for the products. So for example, in the product, we might have less features compared to some other competitors like the Minfo or so on. But we do think as a timeline event conversation, you can, for
Yeah.
example, have a list of people who answer to your message on LinkedIn. We think also the LinkedIn invitation, who is connected to who inside HubSpot as a timeline event. We have some CRM cards to personalize your HubSpot contact view thanks to the LinkedIn data. So we can go deeper inside in this thing. And by going deeper, it serves the marketing at the end. So
Correct.
I think it's kind of, product and marketing working hand on hand.
PLJ, I think their product led growth because you have all of the pieces that you're looking for within this tool. And listen, there's a lot of organizations out there who don't like the existing tool. So not only does yours go ahead and integrates LinkedIn with HubSpot, helps enrich the data, gets all the information. It's almost like an all-in-one and a more affordable solution than let's say Zoom Info out there, which is only doing one component of what you're doing in the marketplace. Do you, and in terms of your customer, who is your customer generally? Like who is going ahead and purchasing Hublead?
Yeah, so we have two type of customers with our two plans. One is more like solopreneurs or really small team of BDRs. They just want to save time on a daily basis. They don't want to spend that time to manual data entry, to check if they have the right email, the right phone number, and so on. So they take Hublead with the starter plan, like the professional plan. And after you have the business plan, and this one is more, okay, I have a team of 5+ BDRs, and I want to understand like who is the best, who has the best conversion rate. For example, like what I said to you like before for the funnel, so you can see on the splits to better understand your activity and train your team at the end on how
Yeah.
to better sell on LinkedIn.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can see small BDR teams and probably also a lot of people out there who maybe not have all the enterprise capabilities of HubSpot. Maybe they don't want to make that investment either on the HubSpot side or the LinkedIn side. And this is a great kind of tool to fill in that gap for teams who want the capability of having LinkedIn and HubSpot integrated, but maybe aren't necessarily ready to pay for that particular level of service.
And at the end, like HubSpot was really built on the thing that you have one app that is doing like a lot of things inside one CRM, like starting with inbound, of course, but you have the sales, you have the marketing, service hub,
Right.
and so on. And at the beginning, HubSpot was really like inbound CRM, inbound tool at the beginning. So when we built Hublead, we said, okay, if we do only HubSpot, we need to have the same approach they have. So we have to enable the email enrichment, call enrichment, and everything like doing what other tools are doing, but just in one tool. You don't have the complexity to think about like 10 tools and how you will integrate with them. You're more like one simple thing, have everything inside. We pick the best features from the market, doing only 2 HubSpots, and see what's happened later.
I mean, listen, it's a great way to build a product, making sure that you kind of have it. And I think HubSpot is a great example of an all-in-one And it's not easy. It's hard to do that, because a lot of people may say, hey, listen, you're doing so many different things. How can you be great at that one? But I think if you have the mindset of that core foundation of what you're building, you continue building up that core. So that kind of brings me to my next question for you is how do you differentiate from the competitors in the space? And they've definitely been a lot that have kind of proliferated in the ecosystem, not necessarily purely HubSpot as you are, but how do you differentiate against these competitors? And I also imagine there's different types of competitors that you think of. It's not just fitting into one bucket.
Yeah. So for competitors other than the HubSpot native, so third-party tools such as ZoomInfo or even Apollo, because with Apollo you can create contacts and then import to HubSpot. We differentiate like with the capabilities to modify your HubSpot from LinkedIn, and also, as I said, like the CRM cards, personalizing really your HubSpot, pulling some report inside HubSpot with the conversation, invitation, and so on. And you can have access to who is connected to you on the HubSpot contact view. So really your CRM with LinkedIn data. And for the native integration, so we were really, really scary at the beginning. Like we quit our job and we were like, yeah, Hublead is working.
Just
We are
all in. You're
happy.
like, burn the bridges.
And now
You're
it's so
doing it.
like at the last inbound new announcements with our newest integration, and we were like, fucking done. But at the end, like the plan from the native is only for Sales Navigator Advanced Plus. So it starts at $160 per month per user.
Correct.
And you have to have at least 10 users. So it's really prohibitive for small companies. So that's where we are, and we can convince the people. We have also bigger companies that are more interested for having less features than the native and at a fewer price. But in the native, like for the native, you have the sync of list and so Sales Navigator list and HubSpot, and it is done automatically, and we are working to do that also. Don't know if we will be as strong as them, but I think we will do a pretty decent job.
Well, I think there's definitely a big market out there for the companies who don't necessarily need 10 licenses and want to spend $2,000 a month. Plus, you got to have all the enterprise features within HubSpot as well. Like, there is a ton of companies out there of HubSpot Professional, like Sales Hub Professional, who may have 4 or 5 sales reps. You're talking about a massive addressable market. Think of your professional services organizations. Think of, companies out there, most likely they don't have 10 people day in and day out for your team.
Especially the HubSpot markets. When you look at their market and their clients, they don't have a ton of people, a ton of companies really big. And also in the native, I just forgot and remember, you don't have actually, if it integrates LinkedIn Sales Navigator to your HubSpot, but not the regular LinkedIn. So every messages you send on LinkedIn won't be synced inside HubSpot. So this is a major also thing for even big companies. So yeah, we have this place. We hope it will grow and grow and grow. But right now, yeah, we are finding some clients who like our product.
Well, listen, you guys have a great product. And I think one of the things also, like when we look at your product, what is the benefit? We talked about what it is you do by able to track activity, but what have been the benefits of companies and the sales teams themselves doing this? Like, why even bother? Just continue sending your emails. What have teams said is some of the benefits or the improvements in their sales process they've seen?
I think, first of all, you cannot really understand the benefits and even understand what you're doing if you cannot track. I don't mean like you have to track everything, but I'm meaning like if you're working as sales rep and you say, okay, I need to connect with a lot of people in my industry to send some messages and so on. If you want to see, okay, just last month, how many invites did I send? It's impossible. So just having, even with the starter plan, you can have this kind of details inside our app, not in HubSpot, but you can see that, and you can search. You can now see, okay, what was my input, and maybe how can I improve that later. So I think the biggest benefits right now, it's really to understand what are your inputs inside this outreach, and then after, how can I improve myself? How can I have the best process and so on? Save time, but frankly, having the input, and that's what I say to my employees and everyone I work with, is that focus on inputs. Later, you will have outputs for sure, but focus on your inputs.
Well, I think visibility is huge. Before, back in the day, before LinkedIn, it was email, phone call, maybe you actually send a direct letter. There was only so many different mechanisms to communicate. And then, of course, then we got chat, WhatsApp, got other sorts of mechanisms that you can also via SMS. But the big one over the last 10 years that really kind of rose was LinkedIn. And
Yeah.
I know the struggle of a sales rep. They're like, listen, boss, I am reaching out. I'm getting these meetings, but it may not show the right activity because I'm not sending as many emails as I'm sending LinkedIn messages. So from a sales rep's perspective, they want to be judged based upon their activities, and obviously producing revenue is important for them. The number one most important thing, but activities lead to revenue. So I think you really saw that gap from both the individual contributor all the way to that manager. And if you're a company out there and you're not tracking this, but you're tracking the activities of your sales team and you want to figure out how to improve it, you have to look into a tool like Hublead so that you can actually start tracking these type of activities. So, I think we briefly talked about, so really, if I just kind of summarize where you guys fill the HubSpot ecosystem, it's those companies that aren't large enough, we should say, that would take advantage of the native integrations with LinkedIn. But that's just a small portion of the marketplace, those larger companies. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's growing, it's enterprise.
Yeah, of
You're
course.
really fulfilling the middle market.
Yeah, completely. Like as I said, like with 10 license at the requirement, the price is very prohibitive for a lot of companies. Even companies with 20 sales, when they look at the price and they say, okay, but I'm already paying like enterprise with HubSpot and so on. So yeah, we're diving inside this kind of community and trying to build with them what we can do, maybe some automation later. Yeah, what really I said earlier was really just better understand what are your stack right now for the outbound, and how can we pick some incredible features from some software and build an all-in-one software for outbound, especially for HubSpot. But we're kind of duplicating the strategy of HubSpot, beginning with Salesforce and inbound as their inbound markets. Not sure. I don't think we are doing the same with HubSpot, but kind of having the same approach. I really like this approach, and I think it will pay off.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, if there's one company to model after what they've done so well, I would say HubSpot. You can't go wrong with that. Well, what does the future of Hublead look like? What's the technology roadmap? How are you going to be incorporating stuff like AI into it?
Yeah, so right now we are still working on what I said to you, like the bulk export. So synchronizing sales navigator list with HubSpot. And later we have two different views. One is automation, and the other one is more training your salespeople for automation. So of course you can think about LinkedIn automation, sending invites, sending messages, and so on, or plenty of other things. And you can, of course, add AI in this. But I'm more into semi-automation than full automation. I'm more into, okay, we need to help people to save time and add this spicy thing on the text to be more personalized and increase the conversion rate. And the second thing will be more like, since the biggest pain point at the beginning was really to sync conversation, maybe we can like analyze conversation sent to a prospect and better understand which kind of message is more relevant for your ICP, and how we can help you to craft powerful LinkedIn message, something like that. We are kind of on these two borders. Maybe we take both, but for the focus, one of them would be good.
I mean, listen, they both sound fantastic. Who would like to know what messages are working and what's really resonating with your audience? I don't think you're going to have a salesperson be like, whoa, I don't want to do that. I think each and every one of them are going to be like, yeah, man, that seems like a great idea. I definitely want to do that. What are some lessons learned that you would share with other organizations who are trying to build apps on HubSpot based upon some of your own experiences?
Um, it's still the beginning, so how to have a really great lesson, but I would say don't be afraid to do only one CRM. It's a bit risky. A lot of people will say to you that it's risky, but if you don't take any risk, you cannot build something valuable. So I think like sometimes you need to trust your gut. You won't have you won't have the truth right now, and you won't have it right now. But I think sometimes you need to focus on something and focus. We wanted to do Salesforce like one moment, and we say no. We need to get rid of that and focus on HubSpot. Even if it's scary, even if there is a new native integration, even if something is cooking up like a new app or something like that. But if you're with your customers and you listen to them and you watch what they do and you're aware of the market or how it's evolving, I think focusing on one CRM is a good idea. And later you can expand to other CRM if you want more independence, something like that. But I saw some companies like there's a company called Gorgias. It's a help desk for e-commerce. And at the beginning, they focus only on Shopify help desk. And now they do 2 or 3 other CMS. But this is a big company. Like they have 300 or 400 people, and they are really big. And they focused only on Shopify first. So I think you shouldn't be afraid to focus on HubSpot. And yeah.
I think that's really great advice. We've had a lot of guests on the show who they all pretty much say the same thing. Focus is key. Niche is key on your target market audience. You can't be great at everything. Now you should have a focus. So for that particular example, and we have a lot of success stories of guests being on the show that it paid off. It did pay. It wasn't immediate. It wasn't like in the first 6 to 12 months, but it paid off as they continue along the road. So I think that's excellent advice. Bastien, this has been a fantastic conversation. Again, I love your tool, what you guys are working on over there. And to our listeners, first and foremost, thank you so much for joining us. It really wraps up today. Again, UpYourStack is a weekly podcast that features some of our favorite app developers who've either built their apps on HubSpot or have integrated with HubSpot, and is sponsored by the OBO Group, an elite HubSpot solutions partner. Bastien, if people are interested in learning more about you, where can they find out more information about you, and where can they find out more information about the company?
Yeah, so they can go to hublead.io and sign up and try our product for free. And of course, they can just go to LinkedIn, Bastien Paul, Hublead, and send me an invite, send me a message. We have a lot of automation, like every new people signing up, I try to send a message and get some feedback. So every time happy to chat on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn and websites. And actually, if you go to the website and you go to the live chat, it's me or my co-founder. So at the end, you got me on the phone.
Well, you get to talk immediately to the co-founder. You heard it directly from him. So that's fantastic.
So really, really fast.
Well, if you're interested in leveling up your own HubSpot, feel free to reach out to us at theobogroup.com. Again, thank you for joining us, and I hope you enjoyed listening.